And live, well, rumours have been circulating for weeks about who could step in as the new owner of Australia's second major airline, Virgin Australia. The Queensland government is willing to put $200 million on the table, but hasn't ruled out increasing the offer. It could face competition from up to 20 other bidders. Joining me now live is aviation expert Geoffrey Thomas. Jeff, great to see you. Thank you so much for joining me.
Pleasure, Nika.
Firstly, what do you make of the Queensland government's bid? Would it stack up?
Look, I think it's a very bold bid, and I think it's a very good idea because it gets them in the room with the other serious bidders like Bain from the US, Brookfield from Canada, BGH from Australia, Interglobe from India. So, you know, you've got some serious people in there. They're in there with them. You've also got Twiggy Forrest from Western Australia. You've got Richard Branson also saying that he wants to join the lead consortium. So I think what we're going to find is that one will emerge as the strongest, or one or two will emerge as the strongest bids, and then the Queensland government and others will align themselves with that bid, I expect. So I think it's very important that they are in there because they want Virgin Australia to stay based in Brisbane. And of course, the other very important thing is the Queensland tourism industry, which is critically important to that particular state. And they want to ensure they've got a vibrant airline up there with the Queensland's interests front and centre.
The Queensland government's bid is based on money coming from the taxpayer. Do you think that it would be welcomed by Queensland, particularly given the tourism in that state?
Look, indeed. I mean, there's a lot of commentary about, you know, whether governments should be involved with airlines or not. Let's go back in history a little bit. Qantas is the airline it is today, the big gorilla, if you like, a fantastic operation, because it was in government hands from 1947 to 1993. And the airline it merged with, Australian Airlines, to get the domestic network, was a government airline from 46 to 1993. Now, airlines like Qatar, Emirates, government airlines, Singapore Airlines through the government arm, Temasek is essentially a government airline. So ownership of major airlines is nothing new, and it continues today, along with airports as well. So I see their role there as a positive one, and I'm sure Queenslanders would support it.
Should Virgin Australia continue to pursue the full service model, which is currently operating at a loss, or pivot back to the low-cost carrier, the Virgin Blue model, which brought them initial success?
Well, it's a very good question, and there's a lot of debate around that. You're spot on the mark on that question, let's go back in history a little bit here. Virgin Blue was the success it was because Ansett fell over to start off with, and then Qantas had no competitor in the marketplace to the Virgin Blue model. Now, as soon as Qantas launched Jetstar, back in, I think it was 2003, 2004, with Alan Joyce running it, all of a sudden the Virgin Blue was under a lot of competition, and Jetstar did it exceedingly well, and therefore Virgin Blue decided to move up market and become Virgin Australia. Now, sure, they're in administration now. That's largely due to COVID-19. They were in a restructure because they had overextended themselves a bit, and they're in a restructure now under Paul Scurra, and they're doing a great job of right-sizing the airline. But they got hit by COVID-19, and it knocked them for 6. So I think they should stay up market. And the reason I say that is because you've got 9,000 or 10,000 fantastic staff trained for the top end of the market. You've also got 11 million passionate frequent flyers who really do like the product. So to me, they're the two biggest assets the airline's got. Now, if you were to strip it back and go back to bare bones, low-cost airline like Jetstar, why buy it? You might as well start all over again with a Greenfields airline.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens for Virgin Australia here on in, Jeff. Now, moving on, Regional Express Airlines says it plans to start flying jet aircraft between mainland capital cities in a direct challenge to Virgin Australia, Qantas and Jetstar. What are your thoughts on this? Is this a viable opportunity?
I think they've got enormous challenges. I mean, Rex does a great job in regional Australia with a fleet of about 60 turboprop aircraft flying to about 59 destinations. They do a great job in the regions. Jumping into the jet market, competing with Qantas, Jetstar and Virgin Australia, I think is a stretch too far. Assuming that Virgin Australia flies out of this, you couldn't pick two greater brands in the world than Virgin Australia and Qantas Jetstar to take on. It's an enormous ask, and I believe that once the signal comes that Virgin Australia is flying out of this administration, I don't think Rex will pursue that initiative and will shelve it.
We do know that the airline industry overall is suffering due to the pandemic. In terms of it being able to resume and get passengers travelling again, what extra precautions do you think might be required? Is it a matter of distancing between seats or sanitised wipes being given to passengers? I mean, how do you move forward from this?
Well, that's a very important issue. It's a critical issue. First of all, distancing with the seats it will not work, simply because the economics of the industry is based on the configurations that exist today. If you were to insist on every passenger having a seat next to them empty, well, fares will basically double, and that will make it totally unviable. What this is about is a vaccine, and there's 102 vaccines under development at the moment, 92 in clinical trials, 8 of them in proper trials, and various predictions coming from people like Oxford University saying that they will have theirs available in production by September. Now, you know, there's some very exciting things happening in that space. The best minds in the world, scientific health minds in the world, are working on this at the moment. So that's the long-term solution, which hopefully will be sooner than later. But as far as the passengers today are concerned, in the next few months, it's all about gloves, it'll be masks, it'll be possibly a COVID-19 test at the airport like they're doing in Western Australia now for the FIFO workers. It'll be cleaning the aeroplanes after every flight, sanitising them from top to tail. It'll be flight attendants in PPE. It'll be different food service with less contact with the food. It'll be all packaged. So there's going to be quite a few changes protected. But a seat next to you, initially possibly, longer term, no.
A different world, a different time for every single industry. Geoffrey Thomas, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
Pleasure, Danica.
Moving on now.